Iran launched an unprecedented aerial attack against Israel, and we mounted an unprecedented military effort to defend Israel. Together with our partners, we defeated that attack.
Okay, so that was President Biden just a few moments ago at the White House. We're awaiting the White House press briefing as Israel considers its response to Iran's unprecedented attack over the weekend. So is a counterattack on the table? Joining us now, Tal Heinrich, spokesperson for the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and great to have you here on set in New York with us. What is next?
So, Sandra, thank you for having me on again. You see, Israel is making its own considerations. Of course, there are deliberations taking place in the highest levels of our government, IDF top military brass. We can't discuss all options on air, obviously. What I can tell you definitively is that there's not going to be any taking chances on our security. And Israel will make its own considerations like any other country would have had it been attacked by more than 100 ballistic missiles in such an unprecedented attack that thankfully was met by an unprecedented response. But as you know, Iran fired to kill as many as possible. The results of this attack that took place during the weekend could have been devastating. As we're speaking, by the way, there's a 7-year-old Israeli Arab Muslim Bedouin girl who is still fighting for her life. The Prime Minister, he articulated this concept by which we're acting. If somebody is trying to hurt us, we will hurt them. Of course, Israel is not seeking wars. We're always seeking peace, and we have a record in the region to prove just that. But if someone wants to annihilate us, wipe us off the map, we're not just going to sit idly by. And the situation in which 100 ballistic missiles targeted our territory, over 60 tons of explosives were fired our way, it's not going to become the new normal. Nothing like we've had, for 16 years with Hamas raining missiles on our communities.
So as I just mentioned, bottom right corner of your screen, you can see a White House press briefing is about to begin. That will be important to get any sort of update or clue where the president stands on the next moves here. John Kirby joined our air earlier this morning. He talked about the U.S. role in this and supporting Israel and avoiding an all-out war. Listen.
The president made clear to Prime Minister Netanyahu that going forward, we will continue to prove that when it comes to defending Israel. Now, what the president has also said, and I believe the American people would agree, we don't want to see a war with Iran. We're going to keep making the posture changes. We're going to keep making the diplomatic efforts we need to do to try to prevent a wider war in the region.
And as this is happening, I want to get your response to that. We're told we've got some live video coming in right now, Tal, and I'll get your reaction to this as we continue to see these protests growing in number all over the country. One in Chicago this morning, shutting down a major highway to O'Hare Airport. This is live out of Oakland right now, where anti-Israel protesters there are shutting down the Golden Gate Bridge, Tal. Seems like there's more and more of this by the hour and day.
I wouldn't call them anti-Israel, by the way, because in this war, it's either you're with Israel or you're Team Hamas. They will also be anti-Palestinian because if somebody truly cared about the Palestinian people, they should call for Hamas to release the hostages, our stolen people, 133 of them, for more than 6 months. We know for a fact that some of these young girls are being sexually abused as we're sitting here and speaking. Hamas just rejected, by the way, another proposal that was on the table. They want to remain in power. They want to rule Gaza. They want the IDF to withdraw all the forces and to live another day to carry out another October 7th massacre, so to say. So if somebody truly cared about the Palestinian people, they would have called on Hamas to surrender and release all hostages. These people can call themselves the anti-Israel, but and I think you guys covered it. In some of these protests, you also hear chants like "Death to America," and in some of these protests, and I've seen these videos circulating online, you can see them chanting for Iran.
I mean, this video is incredible. As you just saw that aerial shot of just the amount of delay and backup that just a few people are causing there on the Golden Gate Bridge. This I-880 in Oakland, obviously already causing major delays. The one in Chicago this morning was causing people to miss their flights, not get to work. 10:30 there. This is still commuter traffic that they're backing up all along the Golden Gate Bridge. As we continue to monitor that breaking news, the UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, he said this about using maximum restraint at the UN. Real quick, let's listen.
The Middle East is on the brink. The people of the region are confronting a real danger of a devastating, full-scale conflict. Now is the time to defuse and de-escalate. Now is the time for maximum restraint.
So what message is that sending?
So Iran is not only a threat to Israel, let's put it on the table. It's a threat to all the good forces that you have in the region, the one that want to move forward, to move towards peace, towards modernity. And you have these dark evil forces, Iran and its proxies, they want to take us all to the darkness of the Middle Ages. Iran is not only a threat to the region, it's also a threat to the world. It's the #1 destabilizer. We see Iranian drones, the same ones, the same suicide explosive drones that were launched our way this weekend. You also see them in the war in Ukraine, targeting Ukrainians. So Iran is a global threat. It should be met with a global response. And yesterday there was this session underway at the UN Security Council that was convened at the request of Israel following this unprecedented attack. And we call on the free world to first sanction Iran, define the Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist organization. This is what should be done, and make sure that Iran will never acquire nuclear weapons.
I just got a view of the sign that the protesters were holding, "Stop the World for Gaza," it read, as we get another aerial image of this backup that just a few protesters are causing there on that bridge, Tal. The coming hours are going to be crucial in all of this. Do you feel like, as I let you go here, do you and does Israel feel like they have the full support of the United States here?
I think we just witnessed it over the weekend. Washington and Jerusalem, we see eye to eye in what pertains to the goals of this war as we defined them after October 7th. More so, we sent an unequivocal message to Iran. We see you for what you are, and don't try us, don't test us, don't mess with us, don't mess with the free world.
Tal, thank you. Always good to have you right here in New York City in the studio with us. Appreciate that.